Okay, so let's answer the first question.
Great,
Even though nobody's listening. Everybody asks if this is a video game. Dylan, can you answer this for me? Is this a video game?
I guess I'm not on the screen. No, it's not.
Will it be a video game?
That'd be cool if it were, but...
See, why do people think that this is a video game?
Can we close that window?
Sure.
You got it. No, it's not a video game. We don't know if it ever will be. It probably won't. But we can dream, right? It'd be cool. Although, everybody thinks it's a video game because of our poor delivery.
Well, I think
when we first started.
Let's hope that it is, because the quality of the art and the music itself is kind of up there with the video game sort of tier of concept art and stuff like that. So like I mean that's our hope, that we kind of match the quality of that, which I don't think it's ever really done by anybody who tries to do something related to book, whether it be like those like I haven't used much audiobooks, so I can't really say anything about that.
Yeah,
but I haven't really seen anything online that kind of matches the quality of what we're doing with the storytelling and stuff like that.
So, to sum it up, no, it's not a video game.
Yeah, but...
Maybe it will be one day. It'd be cool. It's something that we would definitely want to... We want to keep this going, and we want to build on it, and eventually it'd be cool if that led to it being a video game. But right now, we can't really do that ourselves. That takes a lot of money.
See, the thing, though, is that I feel like we kind of wanted some platform for storytelling, but then it's becoming like, oh, this is kind of the only way that we can afford to do it right now. So in a way, I think this gets us start to tell the story way quicker than trying to get funds to try to do video games or movies. So lead to the next question by this dude named Non-Applicable Gamer. Applicable English on YouTube. He asked, so is this a movie? Same answer, it's really not.
Definitely a video game before a movie, though, I think. Probably.
Or
if it were to be both.
Or like anime.
Dude, anime, though.
Next question is the music time mapped with the chapter by Mythics? Or Myth?
Oh, actually, a lot of people ask that question.
Well, yeah, sure. So, short answer is it really isn't mapped to like your, what do you call it, your reading speed. But so because everybody has different reading speeds, so like it's kind of like we don't want somebody who reads slower or faster to get hurt by that. So in a way, we kind of make it as like a summary of the chapter, and I think it works so much better that way that you listen to the track and it reminds you this certain events or certain sequence in the chapter, rather than you always have to listen to it with the chapter in front of you.
The goal of it is less to sync up to your reading, though. I mean, that would be great if it did. And I think I read someone's comment who said that they were reading it and actually did sync up to their reading speed. But
well, somebody has to like kind of loop the track
too. But it's more of to put the reader into the mood, the universe, whatever you want to call it, sort of get the feeling of the story. Not instead of just reading it and reading words.
Sort of more like adding the depth to
it's another layer of emotion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, all right. The next question is by Mr. Xenocrates.
Mr. Xenocrates.
So
it's probably wrong, but that's what it looks like to me.
Honestly, why aren't these guys composing scores for Hollywood? Well, that's what we want to do, but
it's a nice comment.
Obviously,
I appreciate that.
Well, yeah. Obviously, we're not.
We're just
right now.
Dudes.
Yeah. Well, I think. Well, hi. By the way, there are 5 people watching now.
There's 5. Look at that.
If you're there, just say hi from the comments or something.
It's more than 0.
It's heartfelt. Well, so why? The why question of why we're not composing for movies is is more because
That's hard to do.
yeah,
That takes a lot of work.
And well, not the work itself, to actually get the work.
There, yeah.
Yeah, to get the work is really hard, and
Years
what
and years and
that's
years.
what we're kind of trying to do with our personal career, but we're not there yet,
Yeah, it might be a while.
and hopefully
So,
we will get there someday.
This is what we're gonna do in our spare time.
Mhm. Next question: does anyone know what that font is by Maven Valancourt?
I'm assuming he, she, whoever it is talking about our logo font.
I think so. Well,
So-
that is custom, so like it's
custom.
it's
It's not available.
we don't even have that font
No,
to
we don't
use
have
by
that font.
ourselves. It's like something that's made one time and that's
Yep.
it. That's done.
Yep. So that's why you don't see it in anything else that we do.
Yeah, I mean, if you notice, we kind of go for like different fonts every time we try to do stuff, so it's like a little bit different slightly, but the logo always stays the same because it's like a sort of, what do you call it? It's more like an image more than it is,
It is
a
an
font.
image. It's
Yeah.
not a font.
Yeah.
I wish it were, but it's not.
All right, next question is by Wing It.
Wing it. I like
Um,
that name. It's good.
How did you guys meet up, and do you guys have a funny story to share? We first met like
Here.
4 years ago.
Yeah.
Not like here,
Not
like
right in
right
this
here,
spot,
but like in school. We're in the same major. We, I don't know when's the first day I met you. Is it in class?
I don't know.
Well, I'm pretty sure I met like almost everybody else outside class, but I only see you in class because you was just like a
I was a loser.
jerk. Like
Yeah, I was a loser.
I didn't like Dylan. Dylan was like this person who
nobody-
like
nobody liked
doesn't
me.
talk to anybody. He just like goes to class and like gets like on top of his shit because he's like really good and like leave
I was a
before
nerd.
everybody
I
else.
am a nerd.
And
so.
then like just get into his room, talk to his girlfriend back then, and then just doesn't talk to
My
anybody. But
girlfriend back then.
then like
Yeah.
we got him to talk finally, and then we became friends
Yeah.
and stuff. Funny story to share. Well, I think that was pretty funny. Like nobody likes Dylan. Like
Yeah, I mean that is funny. I laugh at that. I mean it's true, but funny story to share, like about each other or just in general.
well,
Can you give any other?
Next
actual funny
question.
story? Okay, we're skipping. All right.
well,
I guess we're not that funny.
unless I can think of something, I'll come back. What are the main inspirations behind Tales of Forgotten? I can't read this name. Scrum Diddy.
It's Scrum Diddy Umptious.
Scrum Diddy Yumptious?
Yeah, man. Scrum Diddy Umptious.
Alright. Scrum Diddy Yumptious. So Tales of Forgotten started.
I think that goes to the next question, which is how long have you been working on Tales? Also, are you planning on uploading more artwork of it? We can kind of put those two together. And that's
Sure.
from Alexandra.
Puppalidoo?
Yeah, yeah. It starts
I'm
with the P.
sorry.
We're butchering it, but
Um,
so I guess we could just start from the beginning of where.
Right. So I think if you have read some of the Kickstarter text, it said that Dylan and I kind of have been wanting to collaborate on something, sort of write music together, and then we did in like 2013 or
14.
early 2000.
This was like 2 years ago, I think.
Yeah.
A little over 2 years ago.
But then we didn't really finish it because of school stuff
Yeah.
and also like other stuff. I think like
We
just
just got
our
caught up doing our own
personal
stuff.
and a lot of stuff.
A lot of stuff.
It's just stuff just flies everywhere. But then I think a year later after that collaboration began. I mean, like, it's not like a year worth of collaboration, just a year worth of...
We worked on it for we sent it back and forth probably like 2 times. And then,
Yeah.
and then we
And it
forgot
stopped.
about it for almost a year.
Yeah.
And then you brought it up again. You're like, hey, that thing that we did, we should do it again.
Yeah.
And so...
Or finish it, really.
Yeah, and so that's kind of where the whole project started. And that was back in September of last year.
August last
Yeah,
year.
it was the end of summer. And so we went back to that one track that we were working on, that we had worked on before. And while we were writing it, in the middle of writing it, finishing it up, whatever, Bill was like, "Hey, man, we should make this about more than just music."
Yeah, because I
And-
think it would be kind of pointless in a way that like if it were just we just write stuff and then put it on YouTube or like SoundCloud, then that would just be it. I don't know.
Right.
There isn't really anything else to it. Is
Yeah.
that what it
So, and you came up with the idea. We were here that one night that I spent the night here, and you said, "Hey, what if we made it about like a robot that's on an abandoned planet or something like that?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "You mean like Wall-E?"
Yeah.
So, sure, I guess you can call Wall-E an inspiration. That's one inspiration. But that track that we worked on, that ended up becoming the prologue track that everybody knows and loves to this day. So yeah, that's kind of where it all started. But in terms of, I guess, inspiration for the story,
Well, I think inspiration for it being like a book versus a book with music and art is kind of my thing of as a kid I didn't have a console like
Oh, yeah.
PlayStation. I only had PlayStation 1 and then everybody went on and got PlayStation 2 and played all these awesome games. And I couldn't, so I bought like a walkthrough book and I read it, and then so in the walkthrough book you get to see like sort of screenshots of the game and concept art and whatnot. And with that, and then I go listen to its music and stuff, and I like found myself kind of just imagining myself being in that world. So I think this is sort of the same feeling that I want to recreate to people who might be reading a chapter and want to sort of imagine stuff within this certain frame, So it's not just like totally open imagination like any novels. It's almost like we have these sort of frame or the world that we created, and we kind of. It's not like we do it totally open or totally closed to be just one thing. It's like we do so much world building, and we want people to populate everything in that world themselves. So I think that's kind of the idea of why it is a book and music and art. And also there's that thing that I said earlier, that it's the only platform that we can tell the story without having to spend ridiculous amount of money or ridiculous amount of time to go find money.
But I mean, all that aside, obviously it's a very sci-fi-ish type of story. So any type of sci-fi, I guess, can be considered an inspiration with the whole AI type of thing. Though, when we were first developing the story and how we wanted to play it out, we had the idea of the AI type of thing, but we were like, okay, well, everybody does this, though. Everybody does the whole, AI, like, takes over man, and then what? So we had to come up with, well, didn't have to, but wanted to come up with some sort of twist on it. And so that's where the whole idea of the Forgotten came in. So, yeah. And then music, we want to talk about music inspirations?
Well, to continue for what you're saying,
Sure.
I think it's like most of the events in movies or in even novels, even they sort of end within like the period of it's either robot has already taken the human, or human has just taken back glands from robot. It ends there. Like So we just thought that like, why isn't there like a sort of a continuing events coming after that?
After all the big stuff is over.
Yeah, because this is all like stuff after all them like 2-3 wars that have happened and whatnot. So I think this is kind of where we thought that it would be sort of a nice, unique thing that we would do.
Right. It's kind of the aftermath of something like
Yeah.
that. So, but like musically, when we write the music, because of the whole, it's sci-fi and we're talking about robots, one of our main goals was to put in sort of that glitchy robot feel mixed with sort of just the organic orchestral sounds that you hear. So that's kind of why in all the tracks you hear that exactly. It's just sound effects and weird robotic noises and all that type of stuff, just because it feels good.
Well, also, I think, like, we were talking about how, what is musical Tales of, because in the EP, we were sort of struggling at some point when trying to, like, we were writing it to the scene in the book, but then it came out like it didn't quite feel like it is music from Tales of the Forgotten. Like, it doesn't feel like Ground Zero or Prologue, because then we didn't really have like specific events or whatnot. So I think we didn't have limitations to do stuff that way.
Right, we were kind of just thinking outside.
But
the box
then
a little bit.
This time we were like asking ourselves, like, why doesn't this sound like that? I think it was because, we came out with this kind of like conclusion that it needs to have both the feel of it being a film score, which is what we both do, but at the same time we have to take it to sort of the next level, that like it becomes like an active listening thing.
Right.
Like, because film score is just like, an what do you call it? Like an underlying thing behind a picture.
Underscore.
Well, yeah.
That's a term.
I think so. But then we want people to be able to listen to music on its own too. Right. So like we kind of have to sort of amp it up to the next level. Create a lot of interesting stuff.
That's like what you mentioned to me a while ago, was that it's what makes it sound like Tales is your film scoring-esque, like, sort of emotional draw and thematics mixed with my trailer music, sort of amped up type of vibe. And so those two things together is what makes Tales of Forgotten music.
Yeah, like it makes kind of a nice combination of our style in a way, because of what we do. I think that's enough.
For that question.
Oh, and do you want to talk about the art? I mean, I don't really have much inspirations in terms of what the artwork or the concept art should be.
We just imagine it as to what it should look like, just through, whether if we do the music or if we have part of the story.
See, but there are like specific artists that we like, though, like that we would like hire to do our stuff.
I mean, when we were first starting the Kickstarter and we wanted to get the art, we just scouted DeviantArt for hours and hours and hours, trying just gathering a whole list of concept artists, guys that we liked the work of, or that we thought maybe would fit the style, or did sort of like sci-fi stuff that we were looking for. But it was mainly like it was a lot of their creativity put into the artwork. We gave them, here's this thing and it looks like this, and this is the setting it's based in, here's the setting of the story, but we didn't tell them we need this in the picture, this in the picture, this in the picture. We weren't very specific at all, and we sort of left it up to them to sort of just bring their own creativity into it. So that's kind of where that came from.
I think it's the same way with the story too. Like we hate to sort of tell people what to do. We hire people because of their like interpretation or their vision to sort of line up with what we're doing.
Right.
Like, and we could see that throughout their work as well. And same thing with Josh, who's our writer, is that he kind of goes off and do his own stuff, and then like all of a sudden it becomes this thing that we didn't even think of that would happen.
Right.
He inserts a lot of stuff that we didn't actually initially thought of in the story. So I think that's enough for these questions. Now, next one is from Tay Mess. Where does the title come from? I think you can answer that.
I can answer that. So, Tales of the Forgotten. Originally, actually, there was a lot of quarrel over this title.
Yeah.
But that's beside the point. But obviously,
let me tell you though, the first title was actually Tales of the Forgotten Machine.
Yeah, it was. But I was like, no, that's not. We're getting rid of machines at least. Yeah. I wasn't too fond of the Tales of the Forgotten originally, but it grew on me, and that's what it is today. But obviously, if you've read the short synopsis backstory that we have on the site, which I think explains it, if I recall. It might not.
I think it does.
So, I'll just say the synopsis is that far into the future, it's like year 2183, I think. AI and mankind lived together. AI became so advanced, humans advanced them so much that they developed their own personalities and emotions and all that. But eventually, they felt like they weren't being treated fairly, and so an uprising sort of began, and then that ended up overthrowing the humans. But eventually, humans were able to develop certain technologies that allowed them to take back what was once theirs, and sort of push the AI out of the cities and all that, and get rid of AI pretty much entirely. And after that, humans took a vow to abandon technology because they didn't want that same thing happening to them again. But the important thing is that originally there were AI machines that didn't want to rise up against the humans and didn't have a problem with them. They liked living with them. Right. And so when the uprising began, they said, we don't really want to take part in this, but they were pushed aside because the majority of AI said, no, we want to take over humans. So they did. And then humans pushed back, and now humans don't want anything to do with the machines, regardless if they say they want to live with humans or not, because they could be lying, who knows. So these few machines, I should say, that originally wanted to continue to coexist with the humans, are, in a sense, the forgotten, because they're forgotten by humans because humans don't want anything to do with AI anymore. But they're also forgotten by their fellow machines because they're the minority in the group and they want to coexist with humans while the majority of them do not. So, yeah, I think that explains it.
So it's like forgotten from both humans.
Yeah.
And
forgotten not from just the humans, but from
also
the humans
machine.
and their own kind. And that's why they're called the Forgotten, and that's who we focus on in the story.
All right. Next question by James Clark. Do you have any kind of release schedule for future episodes, or any form of time scale between episodes? Well, we do,
Kind of.
And we hope that we could follow that schedule. Right now, we're thinking of 2 to 3 months interval between each one, but see, right now we're about to move to LA, so I think we're going to be sort of paralyzed for like a month.
If anybody doesn't know, we currently live in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Yeah.
This is where we went to school.
Mm-hmm.
So, and now we just graduated, and we're making the move out to LA to pursue
be the Hollywood composer.
Yeah, to be the Hollywood composers that you want us to be. But yeah, so the point is that it's going right now. Our lives are a little bit hectic right now, but will be a lot more hectic once we move very soon, in a month. So as much as we want to continue this and adhere to a schedule that, the 2 to 3 month schedule, like Bill said, we don't know if we'll be able to, at least right away. Mm-hmm. But ideally, the 2 to 3 month thing is something that we would like to do. Yeah. So
I think that answers it. Well, next question is by Combustible Lemons.
Combustible Lemons.
I think it's from YouTube.
That's a good name.
I may be interested in writing something for Tell Your Tales and wanted to ask about the land. I know there are scrapyard deserts, overgrown cities, and based on the artwork forests. What other types of land is there in the world you have planned? Anything special?
So this is a good question. I already responded to his comment, I think, but...
Hi, Brian.
Dude, it's Brian.
It is Brian.
Brian joined us. Great. Anyway, I already answered his question and responded to his comment, but I thought it was important to kind of address this in this video. Mm-hmm. We don't have specifics laid out in terms of, locations, scenarios, places, what have you, yet, of course. And that I'm tying that to the whole Tell Your Tales thing of, if you want to submit something to us, we really want you to put your own creativity into it. We don't want to limit you to the things that we already have established. This story takes place on Earth. It's just, 170-ish years into the future.
See, wouldn't it be awesome though? Like, we have, these 3 storylines planned with these 3 locations and whatnot. That's why we have the sort of like a prepared setup for all of the
Right.
storylines,
Yeah, that's
both
what
the
we have set up
character
right now.
and the locations and even the tone of the music. But we are already doing that. Like, wouldn't it be cool if you were to contribute to like the 4th, the 5th thing, something that we
Right.
didn't even think of, like, so that it would even expand the world so much more. I think so. Like Dylan said, just be creative in general,
Yeah.
and we're not looking for like any types of competitions or anything. Like
No.
it's really just more like, oh, like it's so cool to see other people like look at our concept and be like, oh, this is what I thought of. And
Yeah.
kind of.
I mean, that's why that's what was so cool when we did the Kickstarter, when we originally did the Kickstarter, because
Yeah.
when we started it, we were so ambiguous about okay, what was actually in the story. We didn't
Yeah.
really say anything at all, but we released the music before we said anything about the story, and because of that, and because of the very small amount of information we gave about the story, we saw a lot of people asking what it was about or kind of giving their input as to what they thought it was about, which was really cool to see. And so that kind of gave us the idea to do this whole Tell Your Tales thing where the community kind of just made up their own stuff, fan fiction, I guess, if you want to call it that, and show us what they were thinking and how
Right.
they picture this world. If anybody hasn't read the first fan fiction story, Tell Your Tale story that we put up, Schizophobia by Ryan Lynn, we got
Ryan
that.
is from Australia. Actually.
Yeah, he's from Australia, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, he sent that to us, and I don't want to give any spoilers, but it's from the perspective. It's not from the perspective of a machine, of a robot, like our story is. It's from the perspective of a human, in that time, in that position. So to see something like that, where we didn't have any input on what he was writing, was really intriguing, and it's really cool to see that from a different perspective. So we greatly urge everyone who wants to contribute something, or wants to show us something, that they just think up your own thing. Like, what are you picturing, in your head that's happening in this world? It can be anywhere. It can be from the perspective of anything. So, sky is the limit. Don't let us limit you. So, I mean, but to actually answer the question, to actually get to the answer, we don't have any specific environments other than the ones we've already talked about. But, it's, like I said, it's still Earth. It's just far into the future. So any environments that are on Earth now are probably there into the future, but
Right.
there might be a twist on them for some reason. Like, for instance, we have the Gray Waste, which is obviously a desert, but there's a bunch of metal there now,
Yeah.
because that's where they throw all the crap. Or Autumn, which is just a city, old Chicago, New Chicago, and that's clearly seen, but you see standard buildings that you're used to seeing today, but then you see how it's been further developed by futuristic
Right.
AI technology and all that stuff. So you get
That's
it.
the answer.
That's the answer.
Last question by Rosemary Cat 1701. Well, and shout out to her, by the way. Like, she has been
She gave us
almost-
a really nice email.
yeah, and
it was
also
lovely.
she's been all over our YouTube
so
and like everything.
thank you
And,
for that.
Yeah, we appreciate so much for that support, and I mean, we can't say thank you enough for the story you've shared and your experience of what we're doing. So if you're watching this, or if you are not, we hope that you see it one day and see that we are so happy to have you in sort of our family. Why are you watching yourself?
I'm reading.
while
I'm reading
talking?
Brian's comments. Sorry.
Weird.
Yes.
All right. But her question is, who's uploading the videos? Is it me or you or another member of him. Well, we don't have really another member that's
No,
like.
it's just us. We do literally everything, and it takes so much time.
Yeah.
So
And takes up so much desktop
yeah,
space.
social media is by far, I feel like by far the thing that we spend the most time on. Whether it's making all the posts, sending out the emails, making the images, anything like that. It takes a large amount of time, and that's why people have social media managers. And I really wish we had one.
Well, I think though that it's like YouTube is both of us. Like we make videos.
Yeah,
together.
both of us, you know, we'll work on videos together, or we'll.
But I think Facebook is
make
kind
them
of
separately.
where I am most of the time.
Yeah, you do a lot of the Facebook stuff.
And he's on Twitter a lot, and the emails are all from him.
Yeah, I do all the emails, so.
And SoundCloud, I don't really get on there as much as you do, I think.
Yeah, I'm on there every once in a while, but I mean, I'm the one that posts everything to SoundCloud, but that's like it's a one-time thing.
And I think also you reply to most of the comments.
I do my best to reply to comments, whether it's on videos on our channel or when like one of the music channels on YouTube has featured our stuff. I'll go on there every couple days and read through the comments just because it's a nice ego boost. It feels good. No, there's lots of nice things everybody says. It's really great. Especially on the Believe video that HD Sound put up. There's so many nice, amazing comments. I looked through them today, and it just made me feel
Oh, and there was
good
a
inside.
question there asking, what's up with the marijuana leaf? Well,
The marijuana leaves. No, it's a Japanese maple, guys.
It's like actually like a real maple leaf. I've seen one myself because I'm Asian, so don't argue with me.
But we both, to answer the question, we both upload videos. It's pretty much 50-50.
And also we both see everything. So it's not like if you want to find me, you go here or anything. It's like we both see everything.
We both see everything, so yep. Now emails though, usually it's not both of us responding to one email. Usually whoever sees an email first usually responds to it. So yeah. So 50-50 on that one. What was Brian's question? Do you feel that you'll ever make a physical representation of your fans' submission?
Maybe.
Ooh, that'd be cool if we could, but...
Well, I think... Do we even make the physical thing of ours? I don't even know.
That's the thing. We should probably make the physical representation of ours first, but we don't know when that's going to happen.
Well, I think that would be cool, though. Like, it's like almost like a compilation thing, but with, like, more than just music. I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe.
That's a tough question. Good job, Brian. You stumped us. But...
Well, but it's like, it's all like a maybe, because, like, we don't even see what we are, like, aiming for for these, because why we have 3 chapters is because we kind of want to do it throughout the year, because that would take like 9-10 months for everything to get done for those 3 chapters and whatnot. But then after that, we want to see what are the reactions, what are the possibilities, what people are leaning towards. So I don't know, but right now everything seems to be fine.
Right, like we've gotten a huge amount of support and positive feedback from My Status is Living, and that has been wonderful because we weren't sure if we did this thing. It's one chapter, it's not that long, and it's just a short EP of music.
Right.
So we weren't sure how well it would go, but wow, that's
not earthquake, by the way. That's just somebody driving a car by and play a really, really loud music.
But anyway, so we've gotten great support over that, and so clearly it's something that people like and want to see in the future, so that's why we're going to continue doing it. But that being said, we don't know how, I guess, if we continue to do this, how we'll go about putting that into a physical form if we ever come to that point. We would have to, I wouldn't want to create a book that's just like 3 chapters long.
I know,
50 pages, but
like I think it would be cool if we have our book content is like 3 chapters long and then continue with a bunch of the fan stuff.
Right.
I think it would be cool, but do we like we tried to raise funds to do physical copies on Kickstarter, but that didn't go so well. I mean, because it requires so much money, you know, because of the editing and the printing
Right.
costs
It's
and
a
all
lot
that
of
stuff.
work.
Like, so I think it's not worth thinking about right now. I think we want to focus on making the chapters really good, making the music really good. So I think that's kind of what we're trying to aim for first.
So,
Then there's the next question.
Brian has another question.
What is the grand scope you hope to achieve with TOTF?
Another hard question.
TOFT?
TOFT.
Tales of
He can't type.
Tales of Forgotten Tales?
Anyway, yeah, I mean, obviously we talked about the video game thing, where that would be so cool.
It's like the
But
climax of
that's
what it would
yeah,
be.
like we've talked about.
It's like would be like a 10 years of work.
Yeah, probably. I don't know. I mean, maybe if we're
No,
really
like
well,
10
maybe
years
not
of
10 years.
for people to get to like notice what we're doing and like
Yeah,
go on to actually developing it.
right. But
I don't even want to think about it.
I mean, if we build up, the brand, if you want to call it that, enough, where we do enough of these chapters, we do enough music, we have enough art, and we're able to really showcase that, and we have a lot of material, then we've talked about the whole video game thing. Like, that is for real something that we think would be cool to do, and we would, we've talked about potentially pitching it to some company, perhaps, in the distant future, once we build up enough.
The key
content
word is distant.
Yeah,
Future.
distant. We don't know when. We don't know how long it will take. It might take 5 years. It might take 10 years. It might never happen.
Mm-hmm.
But ultimately, we think it's a good idea. We think it's a good story. We like to think that we're producing some quality work, and clearly the fans seem to think so. So once we have enough of this stuff, then maybe we'll look into doing something like that that's bigger, or maybe it'll just start with, it might just start with actually making a book or something like that. But yeah, that's definitely something.
I think we are out of questions, but I think there's one more that I've been saving for. Is somebody on YouTube asked if Ground Zero was the track from Fallout 4. Well,
a lot of people
it's
said that.
obviously not, because well, but I did listen to it, and I was like, oh, there is some like.
It's like a deceptive progression.
Yeah,
whatever you want to call it.
There is something that is similar to what we're doing, but rest assured, I haven't listened to Fallout 4.
We've never heard it.
I've never played the game. I'm currently playing Metal Gear Solid 5, but no, I actually haven't heard it. Also, it's not on Halo either. I'm a PS4 guy. I'm not on Xbox, so I don't play Halo ever. But I did, though, listen to Halo 5 soundtrack, and I thought that the tone is pretty close, because it was kind of in the same futuristic thing. But I think Halo isn't on Earth.
It is not.
If I'm
Well, I don't know. I haven't played Halo. And part of it might be. I think Earth is in it, but don't look at me. Don't trust me on that. I don't know much about Halo. So.
But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. And
Yep.
hope you guys enjoy this live
Thanks
Q&A.
for the questions.
Even though there's 6 of you that don't want to talk to us ever,
Brian, good guy Brian.
but we appreciate you sticking around, and
That's the show.
see you later.
Bye, guys.
Bye.